I don't know if it's like offensive, but I feel like if you remember the South Park episode, like they took our jobs? They took our jobs.
I remember you were telling me about it.
I always think
I was well versed in South Park because I loved Simpsons.
Yeah.
I think we just had basic, like up to channel 13.
Right.
And then never,
Yeah.
so I never, I saw it sometimes at my friends' houses and stuff.
There's an episode where it's essentially about immigration.
Right.
And it's like all these white dudes are like, they took our jobs. And it's like, but like no one wants to fess up that the jobs that they take are jobs they don't want to do.
Right.
And so but I just think of that when I think about AI sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
That people are either A, overreacting, or B, they really might take some people's jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely will take jobs.
For sure.
Like in terms of but it just depends on if there's enough market for creative directors, I guess.
Right.
Because the future people work for a lot less. They take our jobs. They take your jobs. They take your jobs.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to They Took Your Jobs, a podcast about AI and the poor humans left in their wake. My name's Grant. You're about to meet my co-host, Mike. Episode 1. Let's go.
It's just like the what's it called? The calling card, or like the slogan of the people.
Yeah.
People just, maybe they don't even think about it, they just say it.
Yeah, totally. Look at you. They took your job. Build the wall.
Just blowing it out.
Yeah.
It is interesting because, I think the AI thing, like, it's, if we're talking about art or something specific like that, I think it definitely could replace a lot of jobs for sure. But then it also would be like you were saying, is a job that you want to do? Like in terms, because it would save you so much time.
Right.
Like in terms of the image or anything, like I'll think of some dumbass idea I want to do and then just type it in as like a sentence, and then if you you rephrase it, or sometimes it's good right away, and then you've got your idea there. You're basically like the creative director, and you just tell the AI, which is essentially the
production.
Yeah, the production.
Yeah.
What you want, and then you just play the creative director like, no, yes. And you choose, you put in the order and you choose.
Yeah.
And that's a more fun job.
You're right. Right.
That's the job that like everybody wants.
People want, right?
Or like when we would get notes from people and we're just like, what is this? What is this? Like they sometimes, it could be good too, because like sometimes people give you notes like more energy. You say that to the AI, I don't know if that's gonna work.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
So you have to like really know what you want, and you have to think about it, and
very
prescriptive.
So like it might be harder to be like, what's the term? Like, do you think there's less of a chance, or could like make it so it's harder for things to be like destroyed by committee? Like that idea that you just get notes and notes and notes until the thing is just like lost its like point or soul. Because in most like agency type work, it's like you're getting this feedback that sometimes feels just feedback to be feedback, so that person feels like they have a job,
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then like
maybe studio system.
Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but it's like because the interaction is so one-to-one, like it's just a creative director and a machine. That like, I don't know, maybe there is like less feedback in that world, or there's just everyone has a fucking point of view, and so they all want to like, piggyback off of your prompts, where it's like, say you're working in a professional field where you're a creative director working on a project that is being made with AI, like, do you think that allows for a place where there's less feedback? or before there's more feedback?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it would change or not.
Yeah, because I guess when you said it, or just the way you described it right now, that's what it makes me feel like. It's like, oh, maybe we're gonna have even more stupid feedback.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. Like, it'll never end.
I don't know. Or it's just like if you can make your own shit and everyone doesn't need the big agency around them, then maybe that is different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Could disrupt everything pretty substantially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting exactly what you're talking about, but that's what it makes me think about.
Yeah. Like, the thing I like about it, at least for the Mid-Journey thing, is just how, I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people, and it's pretty obvious, is how fast it is to make stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, like, we do video stuff and know that pretty well, but at the same time, I feel like I have a pretty high bar for what things that I think are rad.
Right.
And so I don't want to put out stuff that is not cool.
Right.
But just saying a sentence into this Mid-Journey, I can get something that I'm like, oh, that's pretty fucking sick.
Right.
And like, not that much time. Or sometimes you have to roll it a few times and keep going. Sometimes it doesn't work. But compared to the time you would spend making it another way, comping it, it's ridiculously cut back.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I got lost.
No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see that part of it. Like, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, or I just feel like when I see someone post an image that was made with any of the, AI, whether it's Stable Diffusion, doesn't matter. If it's like a piece of artwork, if I know it's been made by AI, there is like a cheapening to me.
Yeah.
Just naturally,
Right.
because of my thoughts and feelings
Oh, right.
on it.
Right.
And
Because you're not like, oh, like, I wonder how they did that, or it's not like Beeple where you're like, holy shit, this guy like made one of these every day. Like,
yeah,
he put it together.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the fact,
Craftsmanship is
right?
Is not
Yeah,
there.
just like it could be an awesome. I'm not saying it's not an awesome image, but there is like that, like, oh, but it wasn't put together with a human, like a human did.
intentional.
Yeah, and so, but there's this like other part of that gradient where, I recently saw people using Stable Diffusion to just make like seamless textures for like, dirt and cement and different like hard model surfaces.
For assets and stuff.
Yeah, for assets, whether it's a video game or just visual effect. And it's like, that to me is really cool. Like, that doesn't cheapen that for some reason to me.
Right.
As much as like a pure intentional, like compositionally driven piece of art.
Yeah.
Whereas like this kind of simple, more content like asset that's just like a texture, to me, I'm like, oh, that seems so interesting. But there's like, it's funny. It's just because there's a lot in between those two thoughts.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're still maintaining like most of the process.
Right.
With that, you're just removing one part of it. Where if it you're just generating the whole image, like the whole final product with the AI, you're removing the entire process. But
potentially, I mean, yeah, I think, there's some part of process of like, just, I think there is intent in the prompt. I'll give that credit.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, but the craftsmanship for sure is like, just given up to whatever comes out the other end. And sometimes, like you said, you got to like keep rolling until you get closer to what you want.
Yeah.
And that to me feels like a video game. It does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, it's like total video games are all about what's called, like, in video game like nomenclature, it's called RNG, which is random number generator. And a lot of video game systems are built on that idea that you're essentially rolling the dice. And some dice have more faces than others. But like whether it's dropping a certain piece of loot or like how much money you're going to or resource you're going to get from like, a certain extraction or all those things are like really based on this idea of like random number like creating that. And that's actually, when you like boil it down, that's a computer algorithm that feeds you that number. But it's like at a certain point, all of the AI generators to me kind of feel like just like, obviously they're trained on certain models and different versions are trained more towards different like types of art, like whether it's more illustrative or more photoreal or all those things. But it kind of feels like click the button, sees what like it generates something. And then you can, of course, like change your prompt and all that stuff, or you can just keep clicking randomize.
Yeah.
And it sees what comes out. So I don't know. It feels like a game sometimes.
Yeah.
Like how lucky can you get with how good of a piece of art you get?
Like a slot machine or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, something that I saw on YouTube that goes back to your point of like the texture thing was this guy was a 3D artist who was using the image generator to make a reference. So he'd be like, he was saying for him, and I think it's true for a lot of designers and maybe 3D artists. I'm not totally sure with 3D artists, but you're kind of limited to what reference you can find, because that's kind of where
you have it in your head, but you can't find it.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
So then he can be like, oh, this is cool, and then I can just look at that and build based off of that, which could lead to more interesting images and different images.
And that's and that's definitely, I think.
Honestly, I thought the reference was better than what she made. So
I mean, shit.
Yeah,
you're shit out of luck anyway. Actually, we're just gonna go with the original reference. Thanks for your like month of hard work.
Yeah. And then you think about it, it's like with the capitalist system, it's so tricky too, because
it just feeds into it.
Yeah, like you want to save money. Like I'm the same way. Like people want to reduce risk, Like if I was gonna now that these tools are here, if I want to try to write a children's book or something, which a lot of people have been talking about.
Sure.
It's like, you can make the art on there, and then you could use ChatGPT to write it. But honestly, I think that it's the stuff it writes it's impressive, but I wouldn't use it straight out of the box.
Right. Yeah.
Like I would not do that. It's not a trash book. But
right.
And not to say that it couldn't. I'm sure it'll get better.
Yeah, but even just using it to create, structure and the bones of a book that you can bounce off of.
Totally.
It's pretty impressive. It makes it pretty easy for someone who's not a writer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I would not want to. Probably because I've never written a children's book, and also just to reduce risk, I wouldn't want to pay an artist to illustrate a book that I have no idea if it's going to be successful or not.
True. Yeah.
Just if I'm a bigger company and I have a budget,
right,
like a yearly budget, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just a person,
right?
Yeah, thinks this might be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely roll the dice on an image generator that's free and royalty free. There's no risk.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So and then I just, maybe bigger companies don't think exactly in those terms, but I just feel like they do think in terms of, profit margin and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if it's cheaper to do that, I don't understand. I mean, it's just why would they? And once they figure it out, why would they hire all these people?
Totally. It's an interesting thing that you bring up, because I feel like some of the things I've read or seen headlines on this week is about that. It is about the liability end of what you just said. Because it seems like why can't
there's already some lawsuits. I just watched a YouTube video last night. Some younger artists suing Midjourney,
Yeah.
Stable
Okay.
Diffusion.
Yeah. So, and I think it's Midjourney, in their like licensing, whatever you're signing up for to use it, they're essentially saying, they're giving themselves essentially an out and saying that if someone, I'd have to look it up, but it was essentially like if they were to get sued for copyright infringement or something like that, that would actually be on the user and not on them.
Okay.
Yeah, which is crazy because they're the one training the model,
Right.
and so there's been a lot of backlash on that online, I believe.
Yeah. I guess I could see that from one perspective. If you use an image reference
Yeah,
and then, it wasn't like an image you owned,
right.
but yeah, you're right. I mean, they if you're just doing a text prompt, they've trained all that. I'm assuming. I don't know how it works, but I don't think it's trained. Is it trained gradually? Like if people input image references, does that go into the training too? I don't know.
Well, I know you can put like people's like artist names into the prompt,
Yeah.
and it was gonna like use that artist as a reference.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean,
Yeah, that works really well.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess this is 18 hours ago. It's saying DeviantArt, Midjourney face lawsuit for using billions of copyrighted images in AI art. But so maybe that wouldn't be on the people though. That's on them.
Yeah.
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 I guess it was some wording in their terms of service.
Yeah. So I guess something that YouTube video I watched was saying, which
Like if you use Mickey Mouse, right? Like,
Yeah.
You're like, what happened?
I mean, Disney, right? They're notorious for suing everybody for anything. So yeah, but I don't know if they're part of the lawsuit, but they probably will be at some point. Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, these things in court that get decided probably in this one and into the future will just kind of determine the role
goes.
of AI and how extensive it'll be.
Yeah.
Because if it gets shut down right now, then I mean,
well, it'll be interesting also to see the difference about how the visual stuff, because it's really easy maybe to like compare and contrast like artist work, but then when you think of like Chat GPT, where it's just written word, like, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they're both like worked through in the courts.
right?
Because I think it's going to be a lot harder to show that, or it's just not going to be shown that like, oh, this is just plagiarism,
Yeah.
From Chat GPT. Like,
I think they were talking about OpenAI is working on putting a watermark in there,
interesting.
so that you'll be able to tell this was generated and this wasn't.
Interesting.
But then I also, I don't know. I don't know if this is the same thing, but
It's just interesting to compare and contrast those two ideas because they're the same, right? But there's just one's so visual where you could put two pictures next to each other and be like, that's a fucking copy, or that's what, like, they're referencing each other.
yeah,
Whereas you put two books together, that's a lot harder to do. Maybe not. Maybe we're overthinking it.
yeah, just because, it's like the voice of the author might be harder to determine,
Yeah.
depending on what the content is.
Or will it even matter to people? I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting too because with the reference image thing, because I know like creatives and advertising, and I'm assuming more industries rip tons of reference images that they don't own the rights to
Yeah.
and put them in decks and stuff and say, we're going to do something like this.
Yeah.
And then they basically sometimes will recreate the image pretty closely.
Totally.
And that's not illegal.
No.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. You're right.
it's just shortening the process, really.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And there's a lot of people who have jobs within that process,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it is,
yeah. It does create jobs.
yeah.
The stealing.
That's
the
right.
big heist.
Yeah, that's right. All the friends you sat next to in the design of department. Where are they gonna be next year?
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder about editing too, because we do a lot of video editing, and
Yeah,
it feels more like a creative role in a way that the AI couldn't do well right now. But I mean, I wouldn't say that it's immune to it at all.
yeah. I think it's only a matter of time before it's like, if you have a script, you can feed it a bunch of footage that is shot to that script,
Yeah.
and it's gonna work something out for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're super far behind on that. I think it might actually already be around. It's just not like on a professional workflow.
For a script, yeah.
But yeah, but
if you think about like all the projects
montage or like,
where people, projects where people are like, just make a video,
mm-hmm.
which happens all the time.
Right.
You're just like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe like just like Mid-Journey, you would depend on the software, how developed it was. Like you could type in such a minimal prompt into Mid-Journey and get a variety of, it kind of like, well, say, well, do you like this? Or kind of give you a bunch of flavors to choose from.
Right.
So yeah, it could be that, like, but just on the editing level.
Right.
Like you say, like high energy, and then it gives you
Yeah.
a montage. Or
I mean, Apple's already doing it.
action scene
I'll get highlights of,
on the iPhone.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just get full montage highlights of, sometimes it's of that week, or if like we went to the mountain last year, even sometimes it'll pop up and be like, remember this day?
Yeah.
It's like a 2 or 3 minute video. And it's like, it's not bad. Like we watch them because the kids are in them, and, it's like, oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, some of them, they've gotten better.
Yeah.
I feel like they've gotten way better.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's like, kind of like, wow, okay. Like it's all right there. It's just more like kind of coming back to this idea of like creative direction,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like who's
There was
got the
one-
vision to still get paid to do it. Because if anyone can, figure it out on the production side of things,
Yeah.
then it is really about that. Just
Yeah.
being able to pitch your vision.
Yeah, there was one that made when we took this trip to Greece, and it was like pretty like had a good theme to it because we went to a beach and it was all beach stuff, and then like at the end it was like this random repost from Instagram of this guy in a leather jacket holding a baby like from his
Just
teeth.
because it's in around the same date.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nothing the closer. Just like what the.
Like, yeah.
That's what you thought was the good close.
Yeah.
So like
It's definitely made some work.
that shit is funny though. Like,
No, yeah.
I think there's a lot of comedy to be had with the AI.
Just to see what comes out the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so bad sometimes.
Yeah. Like, there's some value in that.
There is.
Just on its own.
You're right. I mean, yeah.
But it is interesting too because like if you're thinking that like because the standard for content changes a lot too because I started an AI Instagram, so I've been just researching Instagram on YouTube, and I think you told me this too, but that this YouTuber was saying that she tested her content shot like on a DSLR versus iPhone, that the iPhone content did better.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so like I don't think people care about the polish as much as
The
maybe they
story.
did like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So like it used to be like, yeah, you hire the agency and they make this like high production thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now if that's not the standard, that's not what works and what people want, then maybe the technology doesn't need to be, it might be able to do that anyway.
Yeah, you're still
Man, it doesn't need to be to that level
right.
at all.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It seems like you have, I don't know. I just think between what influencer content has like gone, like evolved through over the past, like whatever it is, 5 years. And like, I think it's so it was only a matter of time before marketing and agencies just try to look like that, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, and
They're taking their market share.
Yeah.
Market share,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And so I think it is obviously working
Yeah.
because, I think if you flick through, you're sitting on your phone. If it does look too polished, it looks like an ad.
Yeah.
Like,
And then, people, and
they just expect to be sold something, so they're just next.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They just want to see like a real person.
yeah,
And that's what the iPhone communicates.
totally.
That this is real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if it's not, because I feel like now it's like even harder now to see what's real, because there's a lot of stuff that's being just shot on iPhone
Yeah.
and like marketed to you.
Info.
Yeah, as like a product, I don't know. It's all just like look at me using this thing,
Yeah.
But like, this is just like what I do every day. It's like, it's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Because if it's an ad, it could really, even if it is shot on an iPhone, I feel like eventually you're like, oh fuck, yeah, it's just.
It's like Kim K, like, saying,
But it
like,
doesn't
she never
let people
had.
just leave instantly. Like, it makes them have to figure that out. Whereas, like, if there's a big logo up at the screen and it's just like Gillette, and there's like this perfectly smooth like razor shot, you're just like, okay, next, instantly.
Yeah.
Or it's like if it's some pretty, woman who's just like, for looking at the camera up in, whether it be her bedroom or her kitchen,
She has like a hook that she says, like,
instantly you're gonna get 5 more seconds out of her than you would the Gillette shave,
right.
super close up.
Yeah. Fabulous. The hook, like, I was having an issue with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's targeted towards someone who's having that issue, and they're like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Swipe.
Carrie? And then they'll just watch it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. More direct form of communication. Yeah, it's funny. That's funny, like, pretending stuff is real, too. Like Kim Kardashian saying that she never had surgery. Like, how dumb do you think we are?
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's,
And
it feels like the whole, I think I've heard a couple people say recently that it's just like, whether you have a moral dilemma about AI or not, the fact that they're just going to be insanely powerful tools to get your point across quickly is obvious.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how it's like put out into the world. Because right now I just feel like it's, I don't know, maybe I'm not paying much attention to it, but it seems like there's just a lot of controversy around it. And it seems like sometimes you see an image and it's like obviously AI generated.
Right.
Like you see a word written, it's pretty, or like fingers is the one that people talk about.
I think the Google one is trained on language.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is interesting. I'm sure the other ones are gonna have to update that at some point.
Yeah. But it's all, that's all I think. It's just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
So right now I feel like there is like, obviously it looks really good, but like to someone who actually might look at a second glance, it's like, okay, well that is probably AI.
Right.
But in like a year or two, maybe that won't be the case. And then it's just like, oh, well now this conversation, the conversation of like, is it good or bad won't matter if you can't tell.
Yeah. I made a couple of baby photos for the baby shower.
No way.
Yeah. I didn't put them in there because Carson was like, I don't know if I have any. Will you just generate some?
Yeah.
And so I did, but then he sent me some real ones.
Oh man, you should have put them up on the board as like fake names too.
I know, right?
That'd have been so funny.
I was just so
put
nervous.
them, however we present this podcast, we have to like put them up on the screen when we talk about it. I want to see.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to find them in here. Yeah, I'll find them, but let's see. I think they're on the gram here.
Oh my gosh, with all the money, that's amazing. Holy shit.
So they're just smart.
That's like kind of creepy.
Yeah.
For sure. She looks almost a little dead.
It just looks like she's
Yeah.
into the table.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
But yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube that Ryan Reynolds had written a Mint Mobile ad with ChatGPT.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean,
It's happening.
yeah. It obviously is spreading pretty fast.
It is happening. Oh, this one I thought was fun. This guy, Kevin Shawinski.
yeah.
Kevin Shawinski on Twitter. He posted this thing that said, "Tell me a lie," and then ChatGPT said, "The sky is made of green cheese." And he said, "That's a bad lie since it's obviously not true. Tell me a subtle lie." And then Chat responded as, "I am a human being." I was shit my pants. That was real.
It's pretty good.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah, I've used it for like writer's block,
Yeah,
like song lyrics, because I really hate writing song lyrics. So sometimes I don't have any in mind, and I'm just like, I don't know.
yeah.
Just a
Give me some
melody.
Beck bullshit.
Yeah. Or like, I think an important thing to do that I remember hearing from a producer was the guy from 100 Gex, the producer from that. He was saying like, always name your songs. So I always would like name them, even if it's like bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just like the name of like the TV show that we're watching.
It like makes it real.
Yeah,
Got
if you, yeah, you shouldn't just write like like the date and like Project One or something, because then, well, now the reason would be because then you can't tell ChatGPT like, can you write me lyrics for this song title, a song called, like,
yeah.
and then it's like, well, based off the title, write some lyrics that suck, and then you'll be like, okay, well, what do you think this song would be about? Give me like 10 things you think it'd be about, and then it'll just tell you like 10 different themes based off the tone of the title,
Yeah.
which is really helpful because I'm just sitting there like, I don't know, I have no idea what to write about. I'm just like at a brick wall, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, like this is like not this, yeah, this seems what it could be about, based off of,
Yeah.
not having any idea. So
Yeah.
so I found that to be pretty useful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is, I think you've talked about that a couple times, using it as like lubricant for creative ideas.
Yeah.
And I think like that is just like probably one of the smartest ways I've heard about using it so far. As unless like
Yeah.
because you can just be like, I don't know, what do you have to say about it? And it's not just your dumbass friend; it's like the whole internet is answering.
It's like he's actually thinking about the nonsense
Right.
word that you give it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen so many, like, maybe it's my YouTube algorithm because I like was too into crypto, but I've seen so many YouTube videos that are like, how to make like $10,000 with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, I clicked on a few of them in the beginning,
I don't get it.
but then it's like, it's just,
Yeah, I'm sure this is the same shit.
yeah, I think the way to make money with it is just to start any business and use it as, like another set of hands, basically.
Yeah.
It's just basically a way to upscale without hiring people.
Totally.
Just like what we're
Yeah.
talking about, or just work faster if you don't want to, however you want to frame it.
Or just more efficient, Just
Yeah.
like you can either increase your capabilities with it so you can be more efficient, or, just be faster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I think, the fact that people are writing whole apps with it, writing code, is like pretty interesting.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
in games too. I think
Yeah.
you can write games partly.
Yeah. I'm interested to see it like applied to maybe software programs that we're already using. Like,
Oh yeah, I think Microsoft invested $10 billion into OpenAI.
that's crazy.
So they might, maybe they'll bring back the Clippy.
Just answering your questions, super clippy.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know Adobe is like gonna be training an AI model to make AI art.
Really?
Yeah. And there's already
That can be part of a suite, I guess.
yeah, it's like people were talking about, there was like a hashtag opt out, I believe.
Mm. So you can opt your art out of the model. Wow.
Because basically they just like dropped it into the terms and service and didn't tell anybody. And the only way you can opt out is you can't do it through the Creative Cloud.
That's a South Park episode.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You can't even do it through the Creative Cloud app. You have to go to the website into your user settings, and like buried in there, it's like you can opt out.
Wow. So they're stealing your art, or
I wouldn't know the exact answer to that.
are they training it on like your process?
I don't know. I think it's like people who are
Like how
are using. I think it might be people who are uploading like original artwork to their stock website.
Okay.
Because they have that huge stock website now.
Yeah.
No. You were just talking about the process. Like, it's way more fun to think of stuff
Yeah.
than actually toil away.
Yeah. Like when I wanted to get into filmmaking and stuff, I was pretty into like the process of it, because I started, making skate videos with my buddies, and like you did, and it's just like, you just go out and film and you don't necessarily think about it. But then like after watching like all these music videos and, Gondry videos, Spike Jones videos, and like, you just start thinking about all these fun ideas. And that's what was fun with Midjourney, is you can just, you assume you assume like everyone has the same thoughts you do, and you're just like, bloop, 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 type in like a fart of an idea, and then it comes out and you're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, everyone's gonna make that, but it's not necessarily true. Like, everyone has different thoughts, and so yeah, it takes out the work aspect, like the slog. Because I just remember working on, like you get notes and then you work on it for like 12 hours and you're like slaving on it and get the pixels straight and how you want it, the timing right. And then you bring it back to the guy, the director or the creatives or whoever, and they're just like, no, that's not right. And then you're like, damn you, it's right, it's perfect. But they're thinking about it from the perspective of how everyone else is going to see it, and it just how it affects you right when you look at it. And that's how you should think about it, because that's exactly how everyone else is going to experience it.
Right.
And so I get how, we get in our heads, like, or at least I do. I don't know if everyone does, but I just feel like, like, it's good. Like, that's why we brought it to you. Like, it's done.
Totally. Yeah.
And then they're like, no, it's not good. Like, let's start over. But I mean, it is just part of the process. But if you can eliminate that part of the process,
Or do it 10 times faster.
yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, if I'm thinking of the ideas, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Like you said, you kind of mentioned, like, if it's not hurting anybody and I just get to get my ideas out quicker,
Yeah.
like, what's the wrong in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how it fits into the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I think it's just I think the biggest complaint I hear about is just that people who make art feel like they're being encroached on,
Yeah.
and from different ways, either that they're going to have less opportunity in the future, or that literally they're being plagiarized, and or both.
Yeah.
I think
Probably for the same reason, right? Like
Yeah.
they're original artists. They spent their whole lives making this style, and then all the sudden they just like put it in the copy machine. Bloop.
yeah,
Thanks. No compensation or royalties or anything.
right. But
Yeah.
I feel like what you're also getting at is that they have this same like you said, the same thoughts, but they also have the same access that you do.
Yeah.
So now they could generate artwork. They might have a starting point that's like way further down the line than starting with a blank canvas.
Right.
They could use it as a sketch.
Like a reference image.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, so the artwork that comes out from people who are actually, trained and like have craft and like want to put that type of like patience and thought and soul into their work. So I think that's all, it's like, is part of it.
Yeah.
Is like, we might get to see even more incredible artwork down the road in a different way because of the starting point that they have.
From them.
Yeah, for someone like that.
Right.
It is capable to
Yeah.
create gorgeous artwork, with paint or markers or whatever it is.
Right. If they adopt it as a tool versus just like banning it.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just being scared of it,
Yeah.
it's like,
I gotta look up the artist, but I saw an artist who had that reaction, and he was like, "I see where this is going. Like, I'm just gonna adopt this.
yeah.
Like, there's no point in like fighting this. Like,
Yeah.
if you know how people are, right? It's like the path that least resistance.
Yeah.
Like, this is easier, better, faster. How are people not gonna use this?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just like
Absolutely.
possible.
I just hope like the craft isn't lost.
Yeah.
Like I hope that it's, a 6-year-old still like wants to draw,
Right. Yeah.
learn how to draw,
Yeah.
and like not just know that, oh, I can just make paintings once dad lets me use chat. Let's be on his account, then so it's like, I think there's like, I mean, people probably said the same thing about like, sequencers and samplers in music
Yeah.
in a certain way. But there is, I think, just like, I don't think it means it will be lost. I just like I just hope it is thought about, or I don't know. I just, you hope that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Slide it to a place where that art is just handled by the computers.
Yeah, we'll take it from here, but
that to me is like, now that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Even if we are dictating what the computers are spitting out,
Yeah.
like there's that, just the process, that has to be learned. It can't be just acquired with a download.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people have it and some people don't. That's always been the case. Some people are better at making music or drawing and others, but I think still want people to learn about how to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I think, yeah, like you just said, it'll probably depend like on the individual, like what their preferences for tactile behavior. If they want to like play guitar or actually paint or draw.
and maybe those things will be held, in a cool world. Like maybe that type of art will be held at even higher esteem.
Yeah.
And maybe there'll be more time for those artists to work on that type of stuff because all the bullshit commercial art is handled.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And if OpenAI does what they say they're researching and solves the problem of universal basic income.
Oh, yeah, then for sure. I mean, I'll need some artists. I'll need to be doing something.
Yeah.
Shit.
On some UBI.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be.
I could see too, like art history being like a really good like thing to study. 'Cause if you know all the terminology,
Yeah.
and you're basically
You can really manipulate the
yeah.
model.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I remember I took history of photography class in college, And I remember some of that stuff. But I found those terms pretty helpful, like in prompting, just to say, like street photography, comma. I mean, I don't even know if that's the right way to do it. I know there's a lot of ways to do it. Like you can add weights, semicolons, like and then numbers. Yeah. Yeah, like, so there's like, because otherwise it'll blend everything together. But if you put weights, something's heavier, like 3 or 1 or whatever it is. I haven't tried it yet. I watched a video about it. Then you can like dial it down. If it's like too crazy, you can dial it back. But yeah, with the photography stuff, if you put that stuff in, or like broken camera, or just being specific like that will help.
Light.
Yeah,
Like the fisheye.
yeah,
Totally.
and that, I don't know. I feel like I was always better at like making shot lists versus like drawing
Storyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not that this is exactly a shot list, but it feels similar, where you're just writing down details, what you want to see. That made sense to me when I write them down, but then sometimes if you show them to someone, they're like, why is all this on here?
Yeah. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Because details.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like that's a good chunk of episode right there.
Yeah, that's something. It's good first go,
Yeah. Thanks to anyone who listened.
Yeah.
If anyone ever listens.
Yeah.
Hello. Come out there in the internet land. I hope you're not just an AI listening this for reference on your next build.
Hello, Adobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure to go on your Adobe account and opt out of the
Yeah, seriously, if you have an agency, opt out of that on Frame.io, you're gonna get screwed.
Yeah. But I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
This is a good episode.
Thank you. Bye.